Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Your Time to Shine, a radio show designed to help you explore your own divine gifts. Good evening, and thank you so much for being here with me this evening. Welcome to September. Wow. Um, we are having some great weather here, and my good friend Melinda is in from Canada, and we are getting ready to do our Angel Within retreat and super excited. So today we spent the day at the beach. It was super hot in Portland, so we retreated to the beach, soaked up the sun and the Mother Earth energy of the beach and the waves. It was absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. So we are feeling refreshed. And here we are tonight. So I wanted to speak tonight a little bit about empaths. And we have touched on empaths many times throughout the show's history. And Melinda and I were actually talking about this on our way back from the beach, empaths and the energies that we pick up on from other people, thinking that it is our energies. And wanted to give you guys a couple of examples of, how is it that you might be picking up on somebody else's energy and it's really not yours? And it really could be affecting your life in some really big ways. And how do you stay in your own space? How do you um, disconnect from that energy? Because, of course, you don't want to be in other people's spaces. You just don't. You want to be able to be in your own space and dealing with your own feelings and emotions because, like most of us, we have enough on our plate. We don't need to be worrying about somebody else's emotions and feelings and trying to deal with them. Of course, as an empath and as a light worker, that is part of the reason why we are here. We are transmuting that energy, but it doesn't mean that you have to stay there. It doesn't mean you have to live there and take it on as your own. So, some examples that you might be feeling somebody else's energies, right? You're going about your day, everything is fantastic, everything is great. And then all of a sudden, you are angry, or you just want to cry, or you want to slap somebody, right? Whatever that is. Um, when it shifts that quickly, you must stop and be in awareness and say, okay, wait a minute, this can't be mine. I was perfectly fine 3 seconds ago. And now I'm having a crying fest. What is going on? Right. So, more than likely, you're picking up on somebody else's energies. So, I had a friend actually share a experience, and they were at a wedding. And at this wedding, they were around a lot of people that they hadn't seen for a long time, including an ex husband. And so, as the wedding is proceeding and people are at the reception, she's just getting all these crazy feelings and thoughts like, wow, what is going on here? Why am I feeling all these really crazy feelings and anxieties in a way about these people that I'm around, about the ex? What is that all about? And what she found out is that when she talked to somebody else about this, um, they explained to her, "Oh, those were not your feelings. You were picking up on everybody else at this wedding, at this event." And it was actually able to put this person at ease. "Oh, wow. Okay. Those weren't my feelings. Wow. I thought I was going crazy, right? Why would I be having all of these strange emotions that I normally wouldn't be feeling about all these people at this event?" And there was just so much combined energy, and you'll find that when you're at big events. It could be concerts, it could be family gatherings, it could be, conferences that you go to at work, right? You're in this collective energy, and you might be picking up on one or two people, or you might be picking up on the entire collective, right? And so you have to stop and be in that awareness, first of all, because the awareness is the first step to say, okay, wait a minute, who am I feeling? Right. And it's so important to do that. And then once you figure out, wait a minute, I don't think this is mine, right? You can ask to be disconnected, cutting all cords and ties from that person or the collective, um, and releasing that into God's light, right? And you can even do like a physical cutting of cords, right? A lot of times, what I will do is I will rub my hands together, snap, and say, I'm done. Send this into God's light, right? And it will actually release from you. If you recognize it and say, thank you for showing this to me. This is not my energy. These are not my feelings. These are not my emotions. But thank you for showing me, and I ask you to release them from me, right? And send those feelings back into the light, right? Let them be transmuted. This is what you do. You transmute this energy. So it's a really simple tool to have in your tool bag. And if you've listened to me, I've talked about your spiritual tool bag in the past, right? Having all these little tips and tricks in your tool bag to use. You just have to be in the awareness. Remember, wait a minute, I have a tool in my tool bag for that. What was that again? Right? Um, a lot of times, people who have been in abusive relationships, right? They will still be feeling the pain and the agony of the other person, right? It could be the person who was the abuser. And for whatever reason, they're still feeling their energies. And it's because they haven't totally disconnected energetically, and so they're still picking up on those energies. And so it's really, really important to be able to disconnect those energies. It's healthy to disconnect from those energies so that you can stay in your own energy, in your own space, and be free of all that because it's really not yours to carry. And that's the biggest takeaway. If I can give you any takeaways tonight, is it's not yours to carry. That's not your duty, and your duty is to stay within your own energies and work on yourself. That is the first biggest thing about having these gifts, is to be able to have these gifts to work strictly for you. Then if you care to share it with the world, that's completely up to you. So remember that trick. Clear your energy, even when you get off a phone conversation, right? Maybe you have a work meeting. Maybe you've talked to your mother. Maybe you've talked to your best friend. Disconnect and clear those energies with every single conversation. You will find that you feel much, much lighter. If you don't remember to do that during the day, that's okay. Don't panic. At the end of the night, make it a nightly ritual to disconnect from all those connections that you've had during the day. You will find you sleep much better. I know if I forget to disconnect and do my nightly rituals, because maybe I fall asleep in the middle of doing my rituals, just saying, um, I have a lot of trouble sleeping. I have crazy dreams. And I have trouble staying asleep. I'm very restless in my sleep. And then I'm like, oh, right. Okay. I get up in the morning, I do the disconnect, right? But you'll find you will sleep much sounder, much better, much more at peace if you can disconnect all those energies from your day. All right. Well, if you have any questions about this, please reach out to me on my website at www.wingsofsoulswithjulie.com. You can find all kinds of other information there too about how to sign up for a personal reading with me, or possibly a group reading. And by the way, if you happen to be in the Portland area, I am going to be doing the MeWe Fair on September 15th, Saturday only. Do stop by my booth, get a reading with me, and at least come by and say hello. All right, we are going to the phone lines right now. We've got Shauna, excuse me, Shauna in Michigan. Good evening, Shauna, and welcome to your time to shine.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm living. That's about as good as it gets these days.
Oh, I'm sorry. What can I do for you this evening?
I was wondering, my partner of 18 years um, was killed in a moped accident on the 22nd of May.
Oh,
And I've been struggling since then really
yes,
bad. And I found out some things after he died, and it's making it even harder to process everything.
sure,
I've been just, I'm just lost.
sure, sure. I understand. Shauna, is there a particular question that's you know that you really need an answer to?
I found out about some other women, and I just need to know if it was all, if I mattered, or was my whole life a lie?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Shauna, let me just take a moment here to check in, okay? And let me see what I can find out from you or for you, okay? There's just going to be a little
Okay,
moment of silence as I do that, and I will be right back, okay?
okay.
Mm. Okay, Shauna.
Yeah, I'm here.
Wow. So, his soul, his spirit is um he's showing me as like very heartbroken um about all of this that you had to find out in the way that you did. Um, yes, you did mean something to his life. You brought him stability and you brought him growth um, that he says now that he kind of took for granted. And he has such a big apology to you right now. And he is so looking for your forgiveness. And he
Forgive him.
understands. Yeah, he understands if you can't give that to him right now, but he's hoping that maybe over time he can have, that you can do that.
Yeah,
Um, but I am being shown that he did love you. He really did. Um, he's showing me that there was something in his line, his DNA, his history, um,
yeah,
that brought up this. I don't know if it was a fear of abandonment, but it was like he's showing me he felt like he was always running from something, and
yeah,
he he didn't choose very wisely um, in this because of this pattern that he was in. He's saying by no means this is no excuse, um, and he's not trying to provide you excuses. It's what I'm being shown. Like there
right, right.
in his family lineage, there's like this long line of this feeling of running and never knowing. It's like he's holding on tight to something and yet he's running from it at the same time. And
That makes sense.
you were really like the only thing in his entire life that gave him that stability and that feeling of not wanting to run away. Yet he didn't really know why he was doing the things he was doing. I don't know if that makes any sense to you at all, but
Yeah,
um,
it does.
that's what I'm being shown. Um, and again, it's not an excuse for behavior. I need you to understand that wants you to understand that. Um, but it does lend itself to some understanding of maybe why things happened the way they did.
I just
Um,
want him to be at peace. And I know he's around me. I feel him.
yes, he is. He actually has not left your side. He has not left your side at all.
That makes me feel so much better. I, everything fell apart when he died. I'm trying to
Yeah,
pick up the pieces now.
of course. You guys were so very bonded together on a soul level. And this is why I think that you're having such a hard time with it. Um, of course, anytime we lose somebody, it is on a soul level and it is going to be hard for us to process. But what I'm being shown is the two of you and the connection that you guys had was beyond that.
Yeah,
And
we connected as pen pals before we ever met. We knew
oh,
each other
wow.
inside and out before we ever touched each other or saw each other or heard each other's voices. That's
Yeah.
how we met 18 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. I try to find peace by thinking that I'm the only person in his life that showed him what unconditional love was. Because
That's
I never, no matter what he did, I never gave up.
yeah. I don't know if you were listening just before what I was talking about as far as being an empath, but that's why your love was
Yeah,
so strong for him and why you gave him unconditional love is because as an empath, that's what you do and that's all that you know, right? You give it your all, you give it
yeah,
your heart and soul. And so when they're not there anymore, it leaves a really big hole in our hearts. Um,
yeah,
and they actually the whole terminology of a hole in our heart is because they really actually do take a piece of us with them, right?
uh,
When they go. And that's what the terminology, there's a hole in my heart. That's where
right.
that terminology comes from, right? Over
Yeah,
time, those pieces can be collected back. So then you're whole again, right? Um,
yeah,
and so you can ask for those pieces to be brought back to you. Um, and you can also work with some people who do this type of work, theta healers, mediums, right? Have a session with them
yeah.
and have them work with you to bring those pieces back. It doesn't mean that the love that you had between the two of you changes. It just allows that grieving to take its course a little bit easier and a little bit quicker
Yeah,
when you do that.
yeah. I've been doing, since he died, I've gotten more spiritual. And I'm starting to learn about the other side and my guides and how to let things go and cutting cords. And
Oh, excellent.
um, I've been saging and learning crystals and trying to, every morning before my feet hit the floor, I pray to my guides and ancestors to guide me and to work in my better good.
Oh,
Um,
that's amazing.
I'm trying. I never really was a spiritual person, but since he's died, like weird things have happened. Like a crystal bracelet showed up with all these different crystals on my dresser out of the blue
Yes.
with a dragonfly necklace. I've never seen it a day in my life. And it was just
Yes.
appeared on my dresser last week.
Yes.
Um,
These are all signs. These are all meant for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like my TV will just randomly pause itself. You'll be in the other room and it'll pause itself. The lamp has
Yes.
turned itself on
Uh-huh.
by itself. I
Yeah.
mean, so I know he's around and he's trying to let me know he's there. and
Yes.
I just try to talk to him when those things happen.
Good. Yes. Just keep acknowledging that you know that he's there. And then these things will become more and more, and they'll be stronger and stronger. And, sometimes when we have these catastrophic events or what we think are catastrophic in our own minds, in our own book, um,
Right.
it cracks open our spirituality, right? Um,
Yeah.
because it's an event that we're like, okay, wait a minute, I need to know more about this. I need to have some, validation about the other side, right? We're all like eggs. And it's just a matter, we're waiting to crack open and open that spirituality path. And some of us
Right.
take a little bit longer than others, but we all have the abilities, we all have the gifts. It's about being ready and opening up to that spirituality, being ready to
Yeah.
see what's in front of us. Like you said, there are signs there that you can't deny. The lamp is turning on and
Yeah.
off by itself, right? There are things that
All
you
right.
just you can't make this up. It just is. And so when we
Yeah.
have events like that, it's about opening ourselves up to a different way of looking at life.
Yeah. You made me feel so much better. It makes me feel better that I mattered to him. I've been
Yeah,
struggling with that
I'm sure you
because
have.
I just, he was my whole world.
Yeah. He says he's made
And
some mistakes. Yeah.
I think he plays with the dog too, because in weird moments she'll just start like playing tug of war with herself all of a sudden, doing weird stuff.
Yeah. He's there playing with her and she knows it. Animals are so intuitive. They're
Yeah,
they're way
they
more
were
intuitive
super
than we
close.
are sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But you made me feel so much better. God bless you.
Oh, you're so welcome, Shauna. I wish you the very, very best and good luck with your spiritual awakening.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye. All right. Next, we have Melinda in Maine. Good evening, Melinda, and welcome to your time to shine.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. What can we do for you this evening?
Um, I'm looking to see if there's any love. It's been
I'm
too
sorry.
long.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Let's see if there's any love in my future.
Oh, any love in your future? Okay. Hold on and let me tap into this for you, and I'll be right back. There'll just be a little moment of silence as I'm doing this. Okay. Okay. Melinda, have you recently left a relationship? I mean, has there been one that you've recently ended?
Um, I ended a friendship, but no, not a relationship.
Okay. Okay. They were just showing me a relationship that had ended. So that's why I was asking. Um, what they're showing me is that you're still a little unsure about whether you really want to get into a relationship or not. Um, and
Okay.
so it's making it a little hard for someone to come in. Um, it's like it's what they're showing me is like you're kind of like dodging rocks or playing hopscotch or something. It's like you're not quite 100% on board. You do want it, but you're a little bit afraid of stepping out and being that vulnerable with somebody. And so
Right.
um, it's it's about what they're showing me. It's about taking those baby steps. And if you continue to take those baby steps, continue to work on what your fear is around a relationship, um, you'll be able to get there quicker and be able to bring somebody in. Because as long as you have this fear of not letting somebody in, it's going to be really hard to bring somebody to you or to be like that magnet, if you will, for somebody. Um,
Okay.
because people can feel that energy, right? And they're like, oh, wow, I'd
Right.
really like to get to know her, but I don't know, right? They can feel you almost pushing them away. And that's what I get. It's like this pushing energy. So it's about kind of going through and figuring out what it is that's holding you back. Um, and it feels like there was something through your childhood, um, like almost like there was like an abandonment feeling, right? And so you're afraid to get out there because you're afraid you're going to be abandoned. You're afraid you're going to get left. So it's about looking into that a little bit deeper and seeing if you can clear that out so that you can have an open, loving relationship with somebody. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think. I think. I'm afraid to. Yeah. My dad passed away when I was really young. So I think.
Oh, okay.
Um.
Okay.
Yeah. I think.
So,
Fear of
yeah.
being left.
Yeah. So it's about going back into that space and trying to dig through that and resolving some of those feelings and knowing that you are safe from that. And being a child and someone passes away, you don't really understand why, right? So it's about digging into that and reminding yourself that you are safe and you are okay to have that relationship.
Right.
Okay. All right. Melinda, we're down to the last few seconds of our show. So I'm going to have to say goodnight, but I hope this has been helpful for you.
It was very much. I appreciate it.
Good.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Have a wonderful evening.
You.
Thank you. That does it for me, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Come see me at the fair in a couple of weeks in Portland, Oregon. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend ahead. We'll see you next week.